Hi, welcome back. Today is using cross-simplifying to multiply fractions. 6.ns.1.
You like those dots in there.
I do.
I just say 6ns1.
Whatever. Use models and numbers to multiply fractions and mixed numbers.
All right, make sure the notes page is set up. Make sure you have all that written down. When you get to the next part, don't start writing right away. Okay. Jot these problems down, but please do not solve them. They're ridiculously big. They're the whole point of this lesson is that if you were to actually try to multiply out these fractions, think of doing 12 times 15 is 180. And then
49 times 60. Ugh.
yeah, I don't want to do 24 times 35. But you're going to get huge triple-digit numbers. And then our third step is always to go back and simplify. Think about how much simplifying you would have to do in each of those problems. Our goal today is to make this part easier. By the time we're done with this video, you will be able to tackle these problems, but in a much simpler way.
No wasting time.
Oh, too fast, sorry.
All right, so the whole point is about making your life easier. So we are going to cross-simplify before we multiply today. You might want to set this problem up and write that information in the white box down before we get started.
Definitely want to.
Yes.
All of this important information.
Hit pause, write it down. Okay, got it? So we're going to look for a common factor that you can use to divide both the numerator and the denominator before we get started. Now, we need to look diagonally, to the right, to the left. We need to look up and down, because we can simplify up and down, but we can't ever simplify across. So we can't simplify across. 2/3 times 6/8 is going to have us looking diagonal. So we're going to look at the 3 and the 6 at first. We see a common factor of 3. So 3 divided by 3 and 6 divided by 3 is what we're going to write down next. Then we're going to go ahead and slash them out. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we're simplifying right where the fraction is. Then we're going to go to the next diagonal. We've got 2 and an 8. And 2 does go into 8, so we're going to take out the common factor of 2 divided by 2 and 8 divided by 2. Now we're going to slash them out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. But we're not done, Mr. McKenzie. We still have a common factor hanging up and down, vertical-wise. We've got a 2/4, which we know 2/4 is 1/2, so we've got to take out that common factor of 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, top times top, 1 times 1 gives us a numerator of 1, and 1 times 2 gives us a numerator of 2. We are done.
It can get a little messy, but with some practice, you'll start to kind of see how to attack the problems. So it gets better with some practice. So let's practice. Jot down this first one, and then let's try this one together. So the goal is looking like Mrs. King said. You can look diagonally. A lot of times you'll find them diagonal or up and down. But the rule of thumb is whenever you're dividing, it has to be one number from the numerator, one from the denominator. So I like to just draw a big fraction bar because I really don't care which fraction it came from. I just care which one's in the numerator and which is in the denominator. So I'm going to look at my 4 and 24 first. And I realize I can divide both of those by 4. They have a common factor of 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now I'm going to check the other diagonal, 5 and 15. They both have a common factor of 5. So I'm going to divide by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now, not every problem is going to divide out quite this nicely, but you're always going to keep looking. So I have a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 6. So I can keep going a little farther. Both the 3 and the 6 can be divided by 3. So I'm left with a 2 and a 1.
And again, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2.
So if you get caught up in it when you're done, go back and circle what's left in your numerators and denominators so you know what it is that you are multiplying together. Mrs. King will take us through the next one.
All right, let's start with the 9 and the 18 diagonal. I know that 9 does go into 18 twice, so 9 divided by 9 is going to cross out and make a 1. And 18 divided by 9 is going to cross out and make a 2. And then I look at the 10 and 15, and I see an easy 5, group of 5 in each one. 10 divided by 5, 15 divided by 5, cross them out. 15 divided by 5 is a 3. 10 divided by 5 is a 2. I make my final check, make sure that my top doesn't go into my bottom, and 3 does not go into 2, so top times top is going to give me a 3, and bottom times bottom is going to give me a 4.
Okay, an easy mistake here is to see, oh, there's a 2 and a 2. I can divide them both by 2. But remember, it has to be 1 from the numerator, 1 from the denominator. So don't look left and right. Always look up and down or along those diagonals. All right, if you think you're ready, you can go ahead and try these 3 on your own. If you're not quite there yet, go ahead, jot them down, and in just a few seconds, Mrs. King and I will walk you through these together. But give them a try. Look at those diagonals, see what you can find that you can divide out of both of them. Think of it just like simplifying fractions. You're just trying to see what can both of the numbers be divided by. You just have more numbers to choose from.
All right, let's see how you did.
All right.
3/4 times 4/9. You're going to cross out the 3 and the 9 and divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is going to give you 1. 9 divided by 3 is going to give you 3. And then look at there, you've got 4 divided by 4, 4 divided by 4, and each of those are going to cancel out and make it a 1. 1 times 1 is giving us a numerator of 1, and 1 times 3 is giving us a denominator of 3. How'd you do? All right, example 2. 5 goes into 10 twice, so you're dividing 5 and 10 by 5. Cross them off, you get a 2 on the denominator and a 1 on the numerator. Now, 6 does not go into 9, but they do share a common factor of 3. 6 divided by 3 is going to give us a result of 2. 9 divided by 3 is going to give us a 3. Got to check up and down. We don't have anything, so 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 2 is 4.
Very similar to the last one on the last page. Last one down here, 3/5 times 10. So remember from our previous video, to turn a whole number into a fraction, we simply write it over 1. So now the 10 is in the numerator, so I can look at my 5 and my 10 can both be divided by 5. So I get a 2 and a 1. I can't simplify anything more because all I have are 1s down here in my denominator, so I'll go ahead and multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Please do not leave that answer as 6 over 1 because that can be simplified. 1 goes into 6. 6 times with nothing left over, so it just simplifies to be 6. All right, we're back to those last couple of problems that we started the video with. If you think you're up for it, as a little bit of a challenge, see if you can cross-simplify these two problems and try to get your answers. So instead of multiplying them and then simplify, try the cross-simplifying. Look diagonally, like your 12 and 36, or your 49 and 35. Then look up and down, maybe your 35 and your 60. See what you can find that can be divided out of both one of the numerators and one of the denominators. And then we'll go over these together tomorrow in class.